Coming from the creators of Far Cry 3, you'd expect Child of Light to be a first-person shooter game, but the truth could not be more surprising. Child of Light is actually a role-playing platformer, and the fact that it was coming from a AAA developer like Ubisoft made it much more special. So without any further delay, let's find out what the game is all about. When I started playing Child of Light, I realized that the presentation of the game received a lot of attention, because from the very start I could see a certain fairy tale like theme building up, and that is exactly what the game is. It's a dark fairy tale presented through a game. The dialogues are surprisingly entertaining as they rhyme together almost every time, and the artistic approach to the visuals added to the mix makes it even better. Now let's talk about the story. You play as Aurora, who is a happy daughter of a lonely king. It's during this lonely time that the king finds another woman in his life, and suddenly the great bond between the father and the daughter seems to be weak. One night Aurora goes to sleep like she normally does, but only this time her sleep seemed eternal, and by all means Aurora was dead. Naturally, this affects her father in a very negative way, and he is surrounded by grief, so much so that he forgets to take care of his own kingdom. But little did he know that she was not dead. In fact, she was in a magical land called Lumeria, a magical land influenced by darkness. There in Lumeria, Aurora wakes up and finds herself scared and alone. Later, as she explores the dark land, she is told that only she can bring the light back to the once great kingdom of Lumeria, and in order to aid her, she'll have a trusty sidekick, a firefly called Ignicus. So with a sidekick on board, Aurora starts her journey in Lumeria in the hopes to find a way back home, and in the progress she meets multiple characters that are all really unique, something they haven't seen in many platforming games before. In Child of Light, you always feel a sense of excitement, yet there is also a bit of darkness that slowly starts to catch up. Overall, the story is really presented in a unique way, and it will make you go back to the game again and again. That's a really good result for any platforming RPG game. The only negative element that I could find about the story and the presentation is the forced nature of poetic dialogues. And I mean, yeah, I get it. It's meant to be a poetic fairy tale, but at times it does feel a little weird. But other than that, I really gotta give a big thumbs up to the Child of Light in terms of both presentation and the story. Let's start with gameplay. Child of Light features one of the coolest gameplay mechanics I've seen in a long time. The movement has a good flow to it and the animations are praiseworthy. But what really makes it stand out are the battles. It's simplistic but requires tactical planning and proper timing. You can slow down your enemies, deny them the turn, and use different potions to gain the upper hand. This simple yet tactical battle gives the players a really good sense of progression, and throughout the game you'll upgrade your character according to their pros and cons in order to make them more efficient during battles. So for me, the gameplay of Child of Light gets a solid thumbs up. Now let's move on to the graphics. Unlike most new games where you get a lot of advanced visuals, Child of Light takes a different path. It takes a more artistic approach to the design. The background feels like a static art and there's a fairy tale-like vibe all over the place. Also, this artistic approach really makes each stage and situation stand out, and in the game the same can be said for the audio. Although there are no real dialogues, the narrative of the story is quite good, and the background music suits most of the situations quite perfectly. Narrating Child of Light is really difficult for me. It's surprisingly good for a platforming RPG game and has a really cool artistic approach in both visuals and audio. It's basically a virtual fairy tale in the form of a game, and it deserves real praise for taking such a different approach in a time where FPS and mobile games are the more dominant force. That being said, the game is not perfect. It's a little bit too easy and the storyline is a bit predictable. But despite those flaws, Child of Light is a gem in the world of gaming, and in our opinion, it's a must play. So hope you enjoyed the review and it helped you decide whether to get the game or not. Until next time.